Eddie, obviously a lot has transpired in the last week after everything being processed in your head, right? I mean, how disappointed are you on a level from 1 to 10, and how positive are you looking forward for what's next for AJ?
Well, I'm gutted. I think I said before, I felt like a one-man army trying to get this fight made. And when you look back, I mean, quite frankly, the whole thing stinks anyway. But when you look back over time, like, there was never one positive comment from the other side while we were trying to do this deal. But I didn't give up. I knew I could do it. Unfortunately, I did as much as I could to do it, but I can't control the other side. And, it was always, oh, they'll never get the deal done. Oh, they'll never find a site fee. Oh, they'll never get the money together. Oh, and again, I just kept my head down, stayed with it. Unfortunately, I took the word of people that, maybe I was a bit naive to take the word of.
Was it Bob Arum, though? Did Bob Arum actually tell you the arbitration is not going to be an issue?
Everybody did. I mean, don't forget, they signed a contract to do this fight, so, and that was everybody. So they all signed a contract to do this fight. We were told repeatedly the arbitration would not be a problem. There is no way the arbitration can stand in the way of this fight taking place. And by the way, it's also extremely strange that an arbitrator should rule for a rematch before a specific date. The whole thing absolutely stinks. And when Bob Arum told me, he phoned me actually I phoned him because I heard about it before he phoned me. And he said, I said, well, what's happened? Oh, you won't believe it. They've ruled this and I'm sorry. And, blah, blah. I said, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, we're going to fight Deontay Wilder. I said, are you joking? I said, for 5 months, I've worked my nuts off to do this deal. And you're telling me that's it. There's always a way. You speak to Deontay Wilder, you speak to Saudi Arabia, you speak to us, you do whatever it takes to make this fight. So the arbitration's ruling was quite simple when it came out, that Top Rank had the right to terminate this contract from December. They didn't terminate it, they kept talking. This was their intention all along, to make this fight. That is what now I truly believe. Wow. So I don't know what to believe. When we talk about December fight, who knows? I'd like to think Tyson Fury wanted this fight. He came out 3 days before and announced that the fight was on. AJ feels that he was just using his name. Who knows? But I'll tell you something now. So something for sure, that people on their team did not want the AJ Fury fight to happen. Because even when it fell apart, people talk about 20 million step aside. I don't even believe there was a conversation about step aside. This was just, we'll go ahead, we'll do this. They could have, like I said, they could have spoke to Fury about step aside. They could have called me for step aside. They could have called Saudi for step aside. There was never any interest to try and make this fight. From the day we started talking, they never made one approach to anybody. They never made any phone calls. They never made any effort to make this fight. It was all driven by us. And in the end, when we delivered it for them, they still had to find a way to not make it happen.
Well, essentially what you're saying is that for months they complained that your side wasn't going to make it happen, and you made it happen, and they messed up. But secretly, maybe, they wasn't really trying to make it anyway.
I think when you look back, you'd have to be a bit of an idiot to think that they were ever fully committed or keen to this fight. It was like, I don't know. And I don't know whether that's a loss of control or, it was something promised to Wilder's team and PBC that maybe Top Rank didn't tell anybody else, and they had to make this fight. Otherwise, they would have been in a bad situation. Who knows? Everything's speculation. But, so many people have come on to me now and just said that, they couldn't bring themselves to make that fight because they said all along, it won't happen, it won't happen. We made it happen.
Is there anything legally you can do, against Top Rank, or do you want to do anything? Not
really, because, at the end of the day, we were in a situation where they had to sign a site agreement and they decided not to sign it. Everything was presented in front of them. As you heard from Tyson Fury, he spoke to Saudi Arabia, he was happy, the fight was done, everything was agreed, and they decided to go this way. But, just go back to that fact of when you've got like, and the worst thing is Tyson Fury just playing along like this, you know, like a fiddler. You know, he's like, no complaints from him. You know, he should be kicking and screaming, saying, hang on a minute, no guys, like we're moving forward with the AJ fight. I'm making like $60 million more to take this fight. You better sort this mess out. But everyone was just, oh, okay, fine, that suits us. We're going to do this. And that was the thing that pissed me off more than anything.
It was
with
kind
all
of
the work that's gone in, you never even tried. You know, as soon as this ruling was made, you just went, great, yeah, sign a contract. You couldn't have signed it quicker. I mean, I think Deontay Wilder signed it on the 19th. That was like a day after the ruling. So people were in cahoots about this process. That's simple. And AJ feels that the entire team never wanted the fight, and they all just used his name for clout. I'd like to think Fury wanted the fight, right? But when you look at the facts and you look at the way that everything falls into place, it's very difficult to believe that they really wanted this fight, especially his team.
Now, as far as age, I mean, is it safe to say that you're going to make that Usyk fight next? I mean, there's nothing, I mean, there isn't really another bigger fight out there, right?
No, I mean, again, subject to a few things like the deal, like the ruling from the WBO on the purse bid. We'll decide whether we take that fight next. Absolutely, that is the favourite to happen next. Looks like end of August for that fight. A lot's happened, you know, since the Pulev fight. AJ's entire life has been dreaming about fighting and beating Tyson Fury. From his training, from his sparring, you know, everything has been geared towards that. So now we have to reset. If he's fighting Usyk, a southpaw, someone completely different, you know, we have to put the camp in place for that fight, bring the relevant sparring in. He has no problem fighting Usyk, and basically he's told me, you know, if you feel like the deal is right, let's proceed with that fight. So we're talking to Alex Krasuk and the team about making that fight, and that could well be the next one in August.
Okay, so but is there any chance at all him letting go of the WBO strap and fighting anybody else?
Yes, there is. I mean, if I don't know, you know, you never know what people are going to rule in terms of splits or what people are going to demand, or, you know, and again, you know, I just done an interview a minute ago where someone said to me, are you going to go ahead and obviously now make the Fury fight in December? And I said, well, again, that sounds like that's easy to do, but at no point have the Fury team come on to us and said, right, let's get that fight locked in for December. You know, they've just gone completely quiet and said, right, we're off now to fight Deontay Wilder. Thanks for all the help.
Do you know how we kind of stopped talking about Deontay Wilder? Maybe I was the only fool that kept asking about the mediation, but people stopped talking about Deontay Wilder, and then all of a sudden he won the case. And what if he actually beats Fury? Nobody's talking like that.
You know what, Brett? We've never, the focus has never been Tyson Fury. The focus has always been the final belt. You know, the undisputed championship. And for years and years, when it was Deontay Wilder, I mean, look, there was a meeting several years ago where Deontay Wilder was made an offer for the Anthony Joshua fight by Dazn. Yeah, I think it was a multi-fight offer. I'm not going to go into the numbers, but my God, I mean, I always felt that he has to take that offer. He didn't take it. He boxed Tyson Fury. The rest is history. So when Tyson Fury won, the focus is Tyson Fury. If Deontay Wilder wins on July 24th, I don't even believe the fight will happen on July 24th, by the way, because I don't believe anything anymore. Like, I think that's going to be delayed a little bit, that fight. No problem. I mean, by the way, if you're a fight fan in America, right, how much money have you got to have? Like, look at the schedule coming up. Okay, so, like, I mean, this is where I look at...
You got to be upper middle class to watch boxing here. Upper middle class.
Obviously, we're very biased, right? But when you look at the value for money with Dazn, so I look at your US schedule coming up, right? So you've got Gervonta Davis against Barrios. Pay-per-view. You've got, supposedly, Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder, July 24th, pay-per-view. You've got Manny Pacquiao against Errol Spence, pay-per-view.
August.
I think I'm missing one, by the way. I think there's another one. But Mayweather against Paul, pay-per-view, right? Basically, you got to be spending over $100 a month.
Teofimo Lopez.
That's it. Teofimo Lopez against Campbell. I mean, like, I don't know what's happening in your country. I'm joining your country tomorrow, by the way, for Hearn and Arum, which I can't wait. Which, by the way, has no pay-per-view price. It's all part of your Dazn subscription. But it's out of control.
No, it is. Eddie, real quick, I have to ask you before we get out of here. We're running out of time. How nervous were you to contact Saudi Arabia, and what were their reaction when you said?
Devastated. And, you know, for all the work that I put in, you know, our friend out there, Prince Khalid, who made this happen and made the Andy Ruiz fight happen, was absolutely devastated. And, you know, you can't imagine how much pressure I put on these people to get this deal up and running over the line. They never wanted to do it in August, right? Everybody wanted this fight in December. And what they told me was right, Bob Arum. Oh, Saudi don't want to do it in the summer. No one's going to want to do it that time of the year. We're coming off a global pandemic. It's too hot over there. And I did it all. Me and Prince Khalid included. And we got to a position, and these people let us down. Quite frankly, they lied to us as well. And, you know, we're in a position now where it's very disappointing for them because they made an effort. They planned to build a stadium. They started all that progress to build a stadium for this fight.
Hopefully that doesn't affect future plans with Matchroom and Saudi and other fights.
Listen, it is what it is. I think they know us well enough to know that we couldn't have done any more. Right. And quite frankly, like, I failed on this fight because I never got the two of them in the ring. But I can look myself in the mirror and say, mate, you overcome every obstacle and you got it over the line. Unfortunately, you can't act for the other team.
Okay, what about this obstacle here? Reportedly, Caleb Plant said $10 million sounds right to fight Canelo. What do you say to that?
I haven't seen that interview, but I don't, you know, I mean, it's expensive, but it's an undisputed fight. So Caleb Plant should be making a lot of money for that fight. Okay. So, you know, I look at it, I'm sitting down with Luis de Cubas this week in Las Vegas. We're there obviously for Hearn and Arum. And we start those conversations with about Caleb Plant. And, you know, I look at it like this. We've both got our jobs to do. I've got to present the best opportunities to Canelo Alvarez, and Louis and Al Heyman have got to present the best opportunities to Caleb Plant. It's not about Dazn. It's not about Fox. You know, it's not about Matchroom. It's not about PBC. It's about the opportunities for the fighters. So we should look at that independently and without any other hat on and say, what do these deals look like? But for me, that's the natural fight to make next, and hopefully we can get it.
All right, on that note, Eddie, man, appreciate the time as always, man. We'll see you in Vegas.
Look forward to it, guys. Take care.
All right.